Hello there, fellow summoners. Mad Dog HT here. We're going to go into the second war of Season 32. Unstoppable Armor is on the map. Here's a quick preview of what I'm doing. Only 5 fights, but we do get some boss action today. And we're up against X+K9, the Brotherhood. These guys, looks like they are swapping alliances between seasons. I think they have like an X+K9 and an X-K9 and whatnot, but we're going to try to put up our best efforts and try to come out with another victory. The first war, we only had 3 deaths, and so we're trying to replicate that. That's a pretty decent score. Here's their map of what we're looking at to take down as far as on their defense. They do have a lot of similar placements between the 3 BGs, so that kind of helped when we were talking about how we're going to counter some of the things that we saw. As far as bands go, they have Quake, Ghost, and Hercules, which is a fairly typical set of bands. And yeah, so let's jump into it. Section 1, I'm going up path 2, and I'm going to use Thing. I have Torch on the team, so that really even helps Thing ramp up even faster with his synergy. We're just going to put on regular boost, green, yellow, red for this line. No gray boost are really needed for either one of these fights. We got Corvus up first on node 5. He's got the strike counter fury with power struggle, so we're only going to gain power when he gets to a bar or 2 bars of power, and we're just going to ignore all that. We're going to let the strike counter build up. Now, generally I don't have any issues dexing and countering Corvus's special one, but there's always that instance where you're just a tad late and you go to counter and you get parried. So I didn't want him to start throwing guaranteed crits onto me. Granted, the protection would probably get enabled at some point, but I just don't want to take any extra risk. So we're just dexing the special one and then going back in for a parry to get our opening and then just start smashing away. So with Torch on the team again, every time I get to 20 rock stacks and I get any additional rock stacks, those get automatically converted into Furies, so the damage is ramping up fairly quick. If you don't have Torch on the team, you have to let that 20 rock stack timer expire for those rock stacks to convert into Fury. So you can see we didn't even get to the 60 Furies, and Corvus goes down. Pretty simple fight there. And then same here. We've got iHulk. iHulk seems to be, I think he's a lot on path 2. I don't understand path 2, path 1. I mean, he's not a great defender in my mind, but I sure do see him a lot on these. This one's strike counter fury again, and then it's got brute force and power focus 1. So generally, I think most like seeing iHulk throw his special ones. It's easy to get out of range of and counter and attack. And with power focus 1, he's going to be throwing that a lot. He can get to special 2, but it does take a lot and kind of a passive AI to get there. Yeah, we're just going to ignore the strike counter. We're just going to keep smashing away. Here I kind of slowed down how many hits in my combo was so that I could get some additional parries to build up some furies to get some better damage ramp up. And I think we end up killing him off around when he has like 16 or 17 of his gamma charges, which is going to allow him to go into immortality. If you kill him before he can get 15, he won't go immortal. So I do run assassins 2 out of 5, so there is a chance, even with more than 15 gamma, that we could bypass that and just knock him out on the first go. But yeah, we don't quite get there. Let's see now. He's at 18, maybe gets to 19, 20 gamma. And here we're just triggering immortality before, triggering protection before his immortality comes up. Doing a full combo to keep pushing him over special 1, and then we're just going to wait out the regen because you can't touch him. But he can surely touch you when that regen is going. Didn't quite kill him on that combo, so I just go and do a special 3. Animation is going to add a little bit more time. Probably could have just thrown the L3 right away. Not probably. It most definitely could have just thrown the L3 right after the regen came off, but yeah, there we go. So path 2 is done. We did have a man thing on node 20, but we have a Mr. Negative player in our group that we feel confident he's doing that a lot, so he took that instead of me taking it with Thing. Normally I would put on Suicides for that. Didn't have to do that, which is nice. We do have Mix Master, Power Focus 1, Aggression Prowess, Nova. So we're gonna put on the Icon Ingenuity pre-fight so that we start in that purple power gain mode. That's going to allow us to get a slow. We do a power start 1. We do a couple hits first, and then we throw that so we can just kind of get the most out of that slow. And then we're gonna just go back to doing a medium light, and then drop back, parry, re-parry, because you can't parry his medium. And then we get to special 3 with Icon Ingenuity coming back up. And this is going to allow us to get a permanent slow. And so far this fight's going just fine, as expected. So I took this last season once, and I did have a White Mags and a Petrify from Mr. Fantastic on. And it really, I think, did help with the power gain that he gets from dashing in, the Petrify. But here we throw a special 2. I probably should have been throwing some special 1s, because right there, he gets above, I think it's 50 is when he can start auto parrying and auto blocking. And had I been nullifying buffs, I think that reduces his charges, if I remember right. And I kept throwing special 2s. This one doesn't quite knock him out, and I didn't learn my lesson. I did get auto blocked again. It didn't stun me that time, and we take him out. So not the cleanest fight by any means, but we get the full attack bonus. That's all that matters. And then shortly thereafter, I don't have a section 2 assignment in the pass, so I was asked if I could provide some energy. So I go over to the Nick Fury, give some energy, and then I come back to that middle node, just do the undo. Allows, you know, people to get through the map a little bit quicker. And I was just waiting just in case something happened, needed some backup, and we just waited here. Came back later in the evening. My boost had fallen off because I'm using Sorcerer Supreme for the boss. I'm gonna apply a health potion at this point, so I don't forget. Get her all healed up. I only had to use 1, which is nice. And we cleared all that, no problems. It's the next morning, Easter morning, where we got Conflictor, Puncture Prowess, Combat Deja Vu Prowess, Nimrod. So he's an unstoppable armor champ. We got a White Magneto pre-fight on this one, so we can get the passive stuns. We got Flame on, so we can get the Nova Flames on Torch. You can see me backing in and out. I just want to make sure that all the pre-fights got applied. And we got an Invuln boost on, just in case we get tagged. And I think the first special one, I do get tagged. But here we're just going to play pretty safe, just medium light, parry, and then heavies. So you can see, I think, yeah, right there we get clipped at the end of the special one. We got energy vulnerability on us now because of that. Not the biggest deal. Here we go, heavy. So pretty much we're going to be alternating between heavy, medium light, dash back, parry, and a couple medium lights here and there. And then we want him to throw the specials while he has those power stings on from the Nova Flames. There we get a decent sting, get the nice dex, and we're gonna just parry We're going to wait out to see, and this time, this is the first one, I think, make sure that the unstoppable armor doesn't get triggered. So every 10 seconds from the global, and then every 11 seconds from him switching modes manually, will trigger an armor up. So we were just watching that, and then we just dropped an input, a block. That's all right. We got hit. That was the only torch fight that we had on schedule. I really wanted to take this fight earlier in the morning because I wanted to knock these out, but it wasn't scheduled for me. We actually had Coop take that, and he was firing up, going up the lane right now to take out his pass. So I waited. He took it out, and then I go and I'm gonna switch out my masteries. So last war I put on max MD for one of my fights. It was an Annihilus polka dot power fight, and this war I am also going to do that. So I had actually changed my masteries back to their normal setup, which is what you see right there. Max Petrify and 3 out of 5 on the MD. And this is going to cost 24 units, so nothing too crazy. I think I'm going to keep the max MD on after this fight until the next war. I'm not the biggest fan of having max MD on like all the time, because I do use Doom quite a bit for like AQ and whatnot, and I feel like it can kind of just mess with what I normally expect from his Doom rotation and whatnot. But in any case, we put it on for this fight. We'll see if we have to bring in Sorcerer or some other Mystic for war number 3, and may adjust from there. Or maybe I'll just run max MD for the time being, because it seems like I'm going to be using Sorcerer Supreme quite a bit this season. So for this fight with Black Panther, there you go, see Coop, nice job, took out the Chavez. We're going to put on Power Start 1. We got Mystic boosts on 200% and 8%. I don't have any 12s left. Got big boost on. We got White Magneto Guidance for extra attack, and then we're going to apply the Icon's Ingenuity again so that we can start in that purple power gain phase, which is going to get us a slow. Now Black Panther Civil War, because he's awakened, he will not get any armor ups until that orange timer with the little person icon on it, until that runs out. So I'm going to do a full combo and then into a special one, just so that I can get more use out of the slow being up. And then it's going to fall off. I could have started a counter, but I didn't want to back off mid combo. And then we're just going to do a little dance. We're at special 3 already. There we go. Icon Ingenuity comes back up, and we want to throw it when that phases up, because now we will have banked the permanent ruin to get the slow every time we activate a special attack. And that's really key for this fight. And then everything else is just a special fest. Now, I had watched an example from MP Blaze, who's in New Nation, do this fight, and it flowed pretty well. But I'm not exactly certain what was so different, but the number of special 3s that I threw after the initial one is quite a bit more. It slows down the play quite a bit because it just takes so much time for that animation. But the flow is just very different. I mean, the result is the same, and obviously AI is not going to behave exactly the same, and there's probably certain nuances and stuff that I do when I play that is going to cause the AI to behave a little bit differently. But yeah, we're getting some specials off. Ideally, we want to get specials going when the Fury phase is up, so we get the armor breaks and get some nice damage off. Probably should have thrown some special ones more. I think I get a special one off of this one. Yep. And there's a whole bunch of buffs up, and that's going to start fueling the MD when we're close. And I probably should have just dashed. I should have just thrown the special there, but I think I was trying to get the Fury L2 up, and I end up just getting an L3. So here's another L3. This is pretty safe. The only thing that I had in mind as far as strategy was, is I did want to try to push him to Special 2 as much as possible, just because I think it's easier to deal with. Sometimes the Special 1, you know, if you just have your spacing a little bit too close and not right, you can get clipped by it. And if he's going to throw a Special 1, you're going to see me just blocking, because I do not want to get clipped, because that could hurt bad. He probably could bleed me out, being on a boss. And you know, maybe this guy's got deep wounds. Or possibly. So I just didn't want any of the bleeds to just like totally wreck me. And then you obviously can't get hit after you've done a chunk of damage when he's got that reflection state back up. But yeah, I did a number of duels. I myself have a 6-star rank 3 Black Panther. I see right there. I just blocked it. No big deal. I had the regen on block up as well. So I did quite a few duels to just make sure I feel super comfortable with this fight, trying not to parry and all that kind of stuff. And it goes really well. No hits taken, a little bit of chip damage, but no big deal. And our battle group, we died 3 times. We had some unfortunate deaths that we weren't expecting. They only died once to our defense, and overall we lost. They died 4 times, we died 10. It was close. It was like 4-4, and we just totally blew it at the very end. It was kind of unfortunate. Granted, even if it was 4-4, we'd have lost on time. So good job to X+K9. They took care of business today. We did not. For me, 5 fights, 5 kills, no deaths. So I have 10 fights on the season, 10 kills, no deaths. The ranking stuff isn't out, but it shows a little badge on the war screen that shows us that we're in Masters somewhere, which sounds about right, with a 1-1 record. And you know, we haven't racked up too many deaths, 13 total on the season. So yeah, we'll see where we land coming out of week 1, but we're doing okay. And as far as items, so I used a big 30% health and attack boost, a 20% one, and then 2 15% health and attacks, 2 power star ones, an invulnerability boost, 24 units for mastery switches, and then you can see those mystic boosts. So tack those on to the total, 70 units total for mastery switches, and then you know, the boosts, they're just slowly adding up. The loyalty cost is getting up there. It'll be interesting to see what the total cost is. But then here we go. Got 1 fight on Torch, 2 on Thing, 2 added to Sorcerer Supreme. And yeah, so far we fought 2 Corvuses in both War 1 and War 2. So interesting to see what kind of bosses we see going forward. See if we see any Black Panthers, because I think that will probably get assigned to me. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully some of these fights helped. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.